All right, you guys. I think I know most people on here. There's a few names I don't recognize. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jen Gaskell. I've been with Young Living for like 4.5 years now. So this is a topic that I feel very passionately about, and I think there's a lot more to it than just giving you guys some tips and tricks. I think that it's helpful to really talk about the why behind it. So Allison and I are going to co-host with you guys tonight. And I hope that you leave feeling empowered to get out there and detox your home. So we're just going to talk a little bit to start about what really is lurking in your home and why you should care about it. Because something that I really just did not realize until I was in the thick of my autoimmune disease was the amount of toxins that we're surrounded by on a daily basis. I never thought twice about the Clorox sitting under my sink or the Windex I used to clean my windows with. And I just never knew how awful synthetic chemicals were, in those little air fresheners or the scented candles I was using all the time, or my Tide laundry detergent, and those toxic dryer sheets. And when I guess, quote, woke up and really started to understand that I was bombarding myself on a daily basis with toxins on top of toxins on top of toxins, a light bulb really did go off for me. And I started making these changes to more or less support my liver by removing everything that was contributing to a lot of the awful symptoms that I was having. So since we absorb and inhale everything in our homes, all of that junk ends up in our bodies. And then our poor livers have to process all of those synthetic chemicals and the toxins, and they work overtime to really keep us as healthy and non-toxic as they can. So some of the most dangerous things that affect our health are things that we willingly expose ourselves to every single day. And some of those things might not even be things that we really expect. I mean, I know I did, and I was shocked when I started going down that rabbit hole. And what I learned almost immediately was in 1976, Congress passed what is called the Toxic Substance Control Act. And what that did is it grandfathered in around 63,000 to over 100,000 chemicals that were on the market at that time. And these chemicals were grandfathered in without any type of testing, and they were just simply unregulated. So today, only about 50% of the chemicals on the market have been subject to any type of chemical testing, which was really scary for me to learn about. And under this act, manufacturers are protected by things called trade secret laws. So they do not have to post what ingredients are in their products. Things like fragrance, they can hide behind that word. So you're probably like, okay, cool. Why does this matter? And when you think about it, our skin is more or less our largest organ. And a lot of those things that we put onto our skin are going to enter our bloodstream every day through absorption. And our bodies are very efficient and they are able to filter out a lot of toxins. However, over time, that bioaccumulation occurs. So when this happens, our bodies are essentially just becoming overly stressed because they cannot filter out the toxins fast enough as they're coming in. So you think about it, you get up in the morning and you wash your face, and then maybe you put a toner on, and then you're putting moisturizer on, and then you're putting all your makeup on, and you're brushing your teeth. And then you go downstairs and you light a candle and you wash some dishes. I mean, just think about how this adds up throughout the day. And you think about it over the course of a year. I mean, it's wild, right? So this kind of stuff can lead to things like hormone fluctuations, hair loss, acne, blurry vision, brain fog, fatigue, indigestion, weight gain, sores, rashes. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but you guys, it's kind of wild. Every single one of the symptoms that I had with my Graves' disease, I could link it back to all of these kind of products. And when I started slowly but surely detoxing my home, I slowly but surely noticed a lot of these symptoms getting better or going away. And after learning that and really experiencing it for myself, I mean, I am a huge believer that using these kind of chemical synthetic products is really where great disease and cancers form. I mean, I don't want to know what would have happened or how much worse my autoimmune disease would have gotten if I hadn't got ahead of that. So before we really start into all of the tips and tricks for you guys, I just want to mention that detoxing your home, it does take time and it does take patience. It's not an overnight fix. Trust me, we're going to be sharing these tips with you guys in hopes that you can thrive in your life. It doesn't have to feel overwhelming. And I just wish that someone had pointed out all of these chemicals in my home years and years ago, because I honestly think my body would have healed a lot faster. And I don't think that I would have been so sick. So we're going to hand the keys over to you guys to help you kind of shortcut more or less this detox journey. So I'm going to pass it over to Allison. She's going to talk to you guys about a handful of ingredients that you really just want to avoid in most of your products.
All right. So if you don't know me, I'm Allison Van Horn. I have been with Young Living for, 7 years. And I did not get in it for this. I was definitely that person that just kind of used the products that were around. That's what I knew. And that's what I was taught. And that's what I did. But then once I started using the oils and I got my thieves cleaner, and then I just kind of learned more and more. And everyone's kind of talking in the chats about how their health kind of improved once they made the changes of detoxing their homes. And it's absolutely true. I mean, it did it for all of us, including my kids. But over the last 7 years, I have learned more and more about some of the stuff to look for and then avoid like the plague. So that's what I get to talk about. And some of it is kind of funny because I'm going to be honest, I'm going to butcher some of these chemical names, but here's the thing. This is the number one thing. If you literally cannot pronounce the chemical in your cleaning products or healthcare products or face products, makeup, whatever the case may be, you should avoid it. So let me prove that to you. And these aren't just in cleaning products. These are literally in everything. I was amazed by that. So some of the big ones that you want to avoid are sodium lauryl sulfate, which is also known as SLS. It's in many, many soaps, hand soaps, dish soaps. It's a chemical to be used to remove grease on floors of garages, cars, all of that. And that is found in dish soaps and hand and face soaps. So it can be very damaging to the skin. That's why a lot of people wear gloves when they use it in its real form. And it can be disruptive to the immune system, linked to cancer, kind of like what Jen was talking about. It has a really potent neurotoxicity, organ toxicity, skin irritation, and endocrine disruption. That will be pretty much a lot of what I'm going to be talking about, those things that it causes. But just having one thing, might be okay, but just because we find it over and over and over again, and then years and years, and that's where it can be really, really damaging. The next one is alpha terpeneol. Yep, told you, I'm going to butcher them, but that's right. You got to stay away from them if you can't pronounce them. And benzyl alcohol and camphor is found in store-bought laundry detergents and dryer sheets. I'll be honest, that was one of the things. Dryer sheets was the first thing that I ditched. I got some of those laundry balls. You can get them from all sorts of places. I got them off of Amazon. You can get them everywhere. And then just use the essential oils and put it on for scents to help support us. And it was so nice. And I didn't even notice the change. I was nervous about that one, to be honest. But I just really felt that our skin felt better and our clothes felt better. But all of those things that are found in those dryer sheets also cause all depression, headaches, nausea, vomiting, same sort of things in the nervous system, loss of muscle coordination, and again, central nervous system disorders. So a lot of what we have can be explained by just the products around us. Next up is talc, bismuth, parabens, lead, mercury, and mineral oil. They're all kind of can be found in the ingredients list. They are mostly in makeup products and skincare, but they disrupt the endocrine system. They are highly carcinogenic, so they can very much easily be one of the main reasons for cancer. They have been found to be linked to tumors, especially in women, mainly because, I don't know if you know this, but if you count the chemicals that you just use on your face in the morning it's over 300 chemicals on average every single day. And if you're diligent, you're doing that in the morning and the night. So it's just unreal how much that can be harmful to your skin. And this isn't a class to scare you or whatnot. It's just to kind of open your eyes and kind of think about it, and just know that there are better products and better things that you can do to kind of just help support you. We want everyone to live forever. And this is the next one. I butcher this every time. Seriously, it's terrible. I think too much about it, but it's the PHTHALATET or TES, phthalates. No idea, that's wrong. Jen, correct me. Thank you. I mean, I talk about it all the time, but I just butcher it every time. But it is found in so many things: shampoos, conditioners, adults, and children. It is in all the stuff in babies. I wish I knew what I know now for when I had my first baby. It's just unreal. And the things that are put out for babies, they think that it's good. I mean, I made the mistakes, guys, all the mistakes. And just assumed that it was good because it had baby on it, but it's not. So please remember to kind of dig deep and read that ingredient list. And ideally you can pronounce them better than me. But they have been banned. A lot of these ingredients that I've been listing off are banned in European countries because they just, are more diligent. Again, Jen kind of led into why that is in the US. But a lot of those ingredients are very hard for our bodies to break it down, especially if you think about it with our kids too, because they're just it's new to them. They don't know, they don't have that like over time that built up that sadly we do. So it's very hard to break down. And then it just kind of stays on our bodies, kind of what Jen was talking about. And the big one that is just so crazy that it is ingredients that we use daily is formaldehyde. Y'all, it's found in candles, it's found in air fresheners, it's found in so many things that it should not be. If you don't know what formaldehyde is, it has to do with embalming bodies when you have passed away. So just to give you a heads up, they put that in there for all sorts of things. I'm not really sure the premise of it, but it's in there. In furniture polish and definitely pet products too. So don't forget to watch out for our furry friends as well. And then the final thing, and she kind of led into that, is fragrance. Fragrance is one of those words that you can literally hide all your trademark secrets in, and we don't know any better because we think it's just something that smells super delicious. I was absolutely that person who was a Yankee Candle obsessor, Bath and Body Works. Now I can't even go near the store. My nose and body have definitely switched over into a much more pure sense. But the fragrance is found in literally everything: baby products, face products, air fresheners, cleaning products, laundry detergent, all the things. But it just can hold lots, as I said, hundreds of toxic chemicals. Yeah, that one's just like the big one. So those ingredients are super important, and it's really easy to kind of switch out. So sometimes you'll hear the term ditch and switch. It really is can be an easy thing, but it does take time. It is not like a once do sort of situation. But basically you want to throw away all those products that have those: your bleach, your carpet cleaner, your dishwasher detergent, your deodorant, your deodorizer of your carpets, your all-purpose cleaners, your glass cleaners, your drain cleaners, your floor cleaner. I like that there's all sorts of different cleaning, and I think I think it's super fun to say that you can literally swap all that out for one cleaner. Young Living has an all-purpose cleaner that you can dilute and change and make all sorts of your own products, and literally use the all-purpose cleaner for all the things that I just mentioned. But if you do want to target different needs a little bit easier, you can kind of make your own glass cleaner or wood cleaner, but you can absolutely just use one capful of that thieves cleaner and water, and it cleans so well. I literally had raw chicken on the counter today that I was cutting up, and then cleaned it with thieves cleaner, and it was just so clean. It smelled nice. It didn't wreck my respiratory system, and it still did the job. I just love that about that one product, that you can literally swap out your entire underneath cabinet that I used to have to lock up with my first baby. And then after my second baby, I didn't have to lock up anymore. It was very refreshing. And even with my dog, he could literally walk around as after I cleaned up with the thieves cleaner. And now we have a couple other products that are really easy to do too. But yeah, other things that you can kind of swap out, as I said, kind of make those do-it-yourself swaps for the glass cleaner and your dish detergent and things like that. If you want other things that are good for your body that you can have underneath your sink, unlocked, is castile soap, distilled white vinegar, your essential oils. And I only trust Young Living for those because of the seed to seal. You've seen it all. You kind of know what's in them. You know the process from beginning to end. You know how pure it is, and they're testing. So I really only encourage that type of essential oils. And then a non-toxic liquid dishwashing soap. But I do love the Thieves line. And if you are new, they have a very easy bundle to get started with. So that could be something that you could get together with the person that invited you to that class if that interests you as well. So as I said, there's really easy swaps to kind of switch out one product for a boatload of things that are a little bit more harmful to your body, and just kind of ease in 1 month, 2 month, don't go, it's not worth it to go big. I feel like sometimes that's scarier, but just one little swap can really make the difference in your health. So I'm going to switch it back to Jen to talk about a couple more things.
Yeah, you guys, like what Allison was saying is Young Living. I think most of us, once we kind of get into this ditching and switching, I think we're all very drawn to Young Living because of how easy it makes it. You're like, okay, I've gone down the rabbit hole of doing all this research. And now wait, now I have to research all these other companies. Like that feels all overwhelming again. And I'm like, we don't love that. So I think that most of us are drawn to Young Living to help us along this process because, like she said, the seed to seal process, you just know the standards that are going to be there and they make it really easy. So they have, I put it in the comments when she was talking about talc and bismuth and things in the makeup. Young Living has an entire makeup line called Savvy Minerals. I mean, they even have liquid foundation and concealer and mascara. And that was personally the hardest part for me to switch over. But then they have the Thieves line, which she was talking about, the whole cleaning bundle. That makes it so easy. And then a whole kids line, they have all the personal care. So it is a really easy one-stop shop if you're kind of in the phase where you're just starting to go down that rabbit hole and you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Young Living makes it really easy. It's just a really simple, easy button, which I think most of us can appreciate when we're going down that rabbit hole. So as far as things, personal care products, supplements, cleaning products, makeup, Young Living is going to be your go-to. But there are some other things that I want to talk about as far as helping you ditch and switch in your home, because there's a lot of things that I just didn't realize were super toxic after I went through and really detoxed my home as far as my cleaners and makeup and whatnot. So I want to go through those real quick for you, just to give you some things to think about and just write these down so that you can kind of make a plan. And like what Allison said, when you run out of something, that's when you can go and switch it. And it doesn't have to be all at once. You can just make your list and go down it. So here's some other things. Okay. Your shower curtains. So vinyl shower curtains are made with polyvinyl chloride, which PVC, most of you guys have probably heard of that, or plastic number 3 or vinyl. So a plastic can really release those hormone disrupting phthalates into the air. And these gases can then linger in your home for up to 4 months, which I think is pretty crazy and scary. And I didn't really realize that until probably about 2 years ago. So I personally purchased cloth shower curtains instead of the plastic varieties, so that we're not inhaling any of those. There's really good cotton ones that you can get that actually will dry very quickly. So you're not worried about things like mold. The second thing is going to be water filters. So you'll see a lot of people love their Berkeys for purifying their water. It actually will taste a lot better. And the goal, if you don't get a Berkey, things you want to look for is something that's going to purify and remove fluoride and other chemicals, and especially heavy metals in your water. So you can go online and kind of see what the water numbers are in your local town, and you can see how high they are in heavy metals. So getting a really good quality water filter is going to make a big difference. Okay, the next thing is going to be your bedding. So sadly, our sheets and pillows and mattresses and blankets, they're all full of chemicals and things like flame retardants that can really interfere with our health. Two brands that I really like is Naturepedic and Cozy Earth. Um, something that so many of us just don't realize is that we spend half of our day, or half of our day, maybe a quarter, half of our life really sleeping in our beds. So it is really important to make sure that you're not sleeping among hundreds of chemicals that are touching our skin. And what really opened my eyes to this is that my son, when he was a baby, he suffered really bad from eczema, and I had switched over my laundry detergent to something that was free and clear. And I was like, why is he still breaking out in eczema like all over his face? And it's because free and clear just, it doesn't necessarily mean free and clear. They put other chemicals to offset those smells and other chemicals. So that's really what opened my eyes to the fact of our blankets and our sheets and all of those things. Because once I switched over to the Young Living laundry detergent, I was like, oh, okay, now I need to go and tackle all of these things. The next one is air filters. So you may be inhaling toxins in your home without even knowing it. Things like cigarette smoke, dust, pet dander, lead, off-gassing from carpets is a big one. And then things like formaldehyde from your particle board, chemicals in aerosol sprays, and just unclean air ducts. That's a big one. Fumes from cleaning products, carbon monoxide, asbestos, flame retardants. I know this sounds scary, but it's really just something to kind of open your eyes and think about all of the things that contribute to air that's unhealthy that we breathe. So things that you can really will be helpful is take your shoes off at the door so that you're not tracking all of these toxins into your safe home that you've now created. Get yourself some really good quality air filters. We like the Austin brand. And that really does help a ton. And then there's something called an air doctor, and that's a really amazing, like portable air purifier. It has a charcoal filter. So we love that, and a HEPA filter. The next thing is going to be plastics. So you want to toss out any kind of containers or cups, plates, bowls that are plastic, and just replace them as you can with glass and ceramic. It's just going to be a lot better for your health. You don't want to be microwaving things that are in plastic. So if you're still going to keep your microwave, it's definitely better to do it in glass and ceramic. Okay, furniture is a really big one. And I'll be honest, this one was very difficult for me, and we're still not perfect in this area, but I think it's at least something important to bring up so that you're just aware. And maybe as you start buying new furniture in the years to come, it's just something you're more aware of. So, things like inexpensive particle board, AKA like the pressed wood, it's often made from really toxic glues and formaldehyde. And both of those are going to be really toxic. And they're also going to release potentially really dangerous fumes. So some other things are upholstered furniture. Those are typically made with polyurethane foam. And those also are going to have things called chlorinated flame retardants in them. And those two specifically have been linked to fertility issues, learning disabilities, obesity, autism, and even cancer. So I know furniture is a little bit harder because it's big purchases and they're expensive, but it's just something to keep in mind moving forward when it comes time to replace those. All right, mold is another really big one. So it is common for, any kind of damp area in your home, really like your bathrooms or your basement. So just be sure to keep those areas dry and just check regularly for molds. So mold is going to cause numerous health issues. So nailing it down before it gets out of hand is just a really big step in keeping you and your family healthy. So that's a big one. And you can also, obviously get things like, like air purifiers and whatnot. What am I thinking? A dehumidifier. That's what I'm going for. All right. Another one that sadly, I just recently learned about this last year is about paints. Like I didn't even think about the paints in my home, and a lot of paints are going to contain things called VOCs that I talked about earlier. And those are just going to have adverse effects on your health. Conventional paints also produce fumes that pollute your indoor air and then contribute to outdoor air pollution. So definitely read the labels of your paint and ask what's inside before you purchase them, or just look online for what healthy, good quality, non-toxic paint brands are, and then just go find those. It's probably the easier option. So the next thing you want to think about is your laundry. And I know that Allison touched a little bit on this before, and most of us are familiar with things like the fresh scent, that Snuggle comes out with. And, your stuff comes out of your washer and dryer just smelling like that Snuggle, and it's great, right? But it's so toxic. I hate saying that, but it's so toxic. The fragrance in laundry detergent it's made to cling to your clothes. That's why it smells so strong and fragrant. My friend Hallie and I were just talking, she just had her newborn baby today. And we were talking about how her daughter is 3.5 and she pulled her clothes out of the attic. And I mean, she hadn't had those, some of those newborn ones in 3.5 years. And she was like, I opened it and it just smelled so strong of draft, like that many years later. But that's why it's made to cling to your clothes. And, your pants and your shirts and other items, they absorb those harmful chemicals and then they deposit them onto your skin. And what we personally use in our house is the Thieves Laundry Soap, because it is literally the best. Like, I don't know, my son had eczema and then we finally switched over and he doesn't anymore. So I don't know. I don't know. But it literally is the best. We use it for everything. And that also makes it a lot easier. My friend Hallie that just had her baby, we were talking about this as well, is that it's just so nice. Like for her this round, she's like, I only have to use one thing of laundry soap here. Like it's the same one for our whole house. And that's really nice. So it's highly concentrated, 6 times ultra concentrated. So it will last you forever, which is really nice. All right. I only have 2 more, I promise. The next thing is going to be your carpets. So carpets are going to contain really, really harmful chemicals, including those VOCs that I talked about, which are volatile. What does it stand for? Volatile organic compounds. That's what it is. They also have flame retardants and then that anti-stain ingredients. And then they just have toxic chemicals that are in their glue binders and then their rubber cushioning. And all of those can release fumes into the air for months, like months and months and months. So what you want to do is really just look for like natural made rugs. And it's actually really easy to find them online these days. Most companies carry natural made rugs. So just something to look out for. All right. And then my last tip of things that you can slowly detox out of your home is going to be your pots and pans. So Teflon is, you don't want Teflon. They're coated with non-stick pans, and those are going to release small chemical toxins into the air when the pans are heated up. And that's going to contribute to your indoor air pollution. So we don't love that for you. We don't love that for me. So they also contain things called PFCs, and that's going to be short for, God, I should have written this down. It's pure flora chemical, something like that. So just look up PFCs or write that down to look at in the future. But they're also used in coating carpets and clothes and furniture and food packaging, amongst other things. And then they're going to put that where you're cooking your food. Like no, we don't love that at all. So those things are, excuse me, they're going to persist in the environment as well as in the human body, and have been associated with things like lower birth rate for babies, cancer, infertility, what else? Elevated cholesterol and liver problems. So for us personally in our house, we only use cast iron, we use glass bakeware, and then we also use ceramic pots and pans. So there's a lot of really good companies coming out with more affordable ceramic pots and pans, which is great because I mean, that stuff can be expensive. And cast iron, I know that some people don't love it because it's super heavy and you don't clean it conventionally, but it's a really easy switch to make when, you can't really justify things like switching your carpet or switching your furniture. There are things that can be within the realm of either kind of like the mental capacity of ditching and switching, and also just, the budget. Let's be serious. Sometimes the budget is a big thing when we're ditching and switching. So, for all those everyday kind of things that you use, Young Living is definitely the easy button, but I wanted to share these with you guys as well so that you kind of just have that in the back of your mind, when your pan is kind of on its last leg and you need to replace it, maybe this is something that you'll think about. So that was my list of ditching and switching, helping you detox your home. But I did want to pass it over to Allison for one more thing that we thought was kind of cool to incorporate, something that's a little cheaper and just easy.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, that was a fantastic list, but can be slightly overwhelming, but really good things to kind of keep forward as you kind of do that kind of shopping for your house. But one of the main things you can do is not only just ditch those everyday products with a lot of the Young Living line, and they have bundles, is get a plant. Household plants can act like an air purifier, so you don't have to purchase all those. They work wonders to clean the indoor air. I mean, they also are nice companions, right? But some of the ones that you can kind of think of to jot down, maybe someone can write it in the chat in case you wanted to save it, are in English ivy. This is like what I had on my wedding day, and I should be able to. The Gerber daisies, the peace lilies. I would like to get one for my house. That just sounds so peaceful. I feel like I could really use more of that in my house. So I'm going to go grab one of those soon. Spider plants, weeping figs, Chinese evergreens, and this is another personal one of my favorite. I don't own one of these in my house, but I do love them and their look. Is a bamboo plant. I just think it's very like fun and a little bit different than just greenery. And all those are really beneficial to kind of help clean your air in a natural way, along with ditching some of those products in your house. But we just wanted to kind of bring light to some of those things that you can switch outside of the products that you use every day. And we wanted to bring light to some of the easy switches that you can make with the Young Living products, such as that laundry detergent, dish soap, the Thieves toothpaste that's fluoride free. We touched about fluoride in the removing it from your water, but you absolutely want to remove it from your toothpaste as well. I'll tell you that I had a lot of problems with the dentist over the years. I was diligent in my toothbrushing with all the whitening power in the world and fluoride power, and I just kept getting cavity after cavity. All I know is that I switched my toothpaste to the Thieves line and the floss and the mouthwash, and I don't have that cavities anymore. I have good dentist visits, and I really feel that kind of getting rid of all that stuff was really beneficial. So that's another kind of easy, one of the easy switches you can do too. But before we close up shop, are there any questions that you want to bring to light, or does anybody else want to share anything? Other than that, we'll kind of close up. I'll give a little second, because we are going to kind of go right into our next call, which we would really love it if you stayed for, to kind of learn about the business side and the side hustle, and just to kind of help your friends and family also switch out their products and hop aboard the healthy train with you, right? So anything else? Other than that, we'll kind of close up. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come join Jen and I. We have so much fun. It is, again, a topic that we both adore, and it is just so important to kind of know what's in your products and how to help you and your family stay healthy. If you are new to Young Living and you just kind of are curious and you are ready to make that next step, I highly encourage you to get with the person that invited you to the call. And if for some reason you found us outside of that, Jen and I would be happy to help you as well. And again, thank you. Have a great night. So what we're going to do is we're going to close out, and then we're going to jump back in for the next call. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you run. All right, thank you.